introductions come across in many years of research and writing. It is a story of great initiative and indomitable courage. It begins with John and Anna Schafer, who came to establish their home in the midst of the greatest forest on the face of the earth. Then, their three sons, Peter, and Hubert, and Albert, organized a logging outfit. They had no money. They had a few yoke of oxen. And they had energy and courage that is commonly not given to one family. Over 6 decades, the Schafer Brothers Logging Company has now become one of the largest lumber-producing concerns in the Pacific Northwest. And this is its story. Now, back to 1870, all was wilderness then. From the Columbia River straight to one Natuka stretched the primitive woods. U.S. Grant was in the White House. The United States is only 38.5 million population. Our scene is the great harbor country of what was then the territory of Washington. A few hardy pioneers had stepped out well ahead of the frontier to hack clearings that were like stars in the middle of this forest that was night. Among them were John and Anna Schafer, who planned to make their pitch in the brooding silence of the cement timber along the banks of the Satsum River. At the hammers of Little Rock and with the help of a few natives, John set to work building a scow to take him deeper into the wilderness. When the scow was ready, John loaded it with provisions and equipment, then pushed out into the stream. Now began a voyage in the best pioneer tradition. The scow soon entered the broad Chehalis, a river filled with sly and tricky currents and with submerged snags. The two dangers combined to overturn the scow. Into the water went John Schafer and pork and molasses, axes, seeds, stones, bedding, and flour. It was a disaster to discourage the stoutest heart. John took it in stride. Soon the scow was moving again. Arrived at the mouth of the Satsum, Indians helped pack everything 6 miles upriver. And there John filed claim to 160 acres of this howling wilderness. Here, by the grace of God and the determination of man and wife, the Schafers built their cabin in the shadow of woods that apparently had no end, and had never heard the sound of axe or saw. John held the plow as it wove among the smoking stumps. Anna plowed and planted. There would soon be more mouths to feed. Time passed, and because no road led to Shelton in the nearest store, the Schafers, father and now son, went through the forest. Sawmills were being built around the harbor. Sawmills needed logs. The 3 Schafer boys badgered their parents. They wanted to start logging right there at home. Permission was granted on one condition, that Uncle Ben Casselson, already a noted woodsman, should show them how. High on the trunk, young Hubert notched his springboard, then clambered up with saw and axe and wedge. The giant trees began to fall. Hubert limbed and bucked them against strips of the skid road. And young Peter, goat stick on shoulder, displayed his ability with a bull teeth, while young Albert hooked and unhooked the chains of dogs. Great, wonderful logs rode the skids majestically, heaving and thundering on their way to the banks of the Satsum. Here they splashed into the water. Water was the only road logs could take to the mill then. There was no machinery. And that day logging had to be done by brute strength, not only of oxen, but of men. A single one of these sticks weighed tons. Moving it called for the muscle of half a dozen men. The boys followed the big sticks down the Satsum, driving and chasing them around the bend, urging them over the shallow place. From the Satsum, the logs entered the larger Chehalis where they were weighted for grass. The logs didn't bring much then. $2.50 a thousand feet was the price. Take it or leave it. The Schafers were often obliged to take the pay of 90-day notes. So they started with a bull team, the Schafers soon heard that steam was invading the timber. Donkey engines were supplanting the bulls. But donkey engines cost money. The boys didn't have any money. So Hubert went to Seattle and got a job working while the Washington engines were made. And he pledged his wages toward a new donkey. It was a glorious day at the Schafer camp when the little 9-10 engine arrived. From a log shanty, the Schafer Brothers camp grew into long rows of bunkhouses. And there was a huge cookhouse where a flunky pounded the gong. And 200 men came trooping to table. Among these loggers now were third-generation Schafers. Young John, at 20-year-old tender, and his brother Carl, working in the rigging. Adding a unit here, another unit there, Peter, Hubert, and Albert Schafer discovered that their modest little outfit was growing into a sizable operation. Indeed, the company expanded until it was the biggest in the region. It comprised 5 sawmills, 10 logging mills, over 100 miles of railroad. There were 12 locomotives, 50 donkey engines, 325 logging cars. To operate the temple called for approximately 2,000 employees. The 6 sons of the founders have now grown and taken their several places in the company's management. And to move their products to world markets, the Schafer Brothers steamship line was organized. New times, new machines, now modern diesel. So, a few of the old donkeys and steam locomotives, including number 1, were put out to pasture. The Schafers have chucked hundreds of tons of machines. I suspect that these few antiques survived because of sentiment, and let them drown. They were in their keep. The time has passed them by, yet they played their parts and grew Grays Harbor into one of the great lumber ports of the world. Many mills line the harbor shore, making lumber, shingle, plywood, pulp, paper, and other forest products. The harbor itself is checkered with rafts of logs. Many of the feet are needed to run the mills for a single shift. Notable among the enterprises which built this thriving community is the Schafer Brothers Logging Company. Schafer sawmill, shingle mill, yard, grates all in the Chehalis, a tidewater stream here, up which the largest vessels come to load. Hordes of seagulls watch the carriers darting around the yards, and the slings of lumber being lifted, then lowered into the holds of ships flying the flags of all nations. Three generations of Grays Harbor folk have worked in Schafer mills or camps, on Schafer railroads or ships. Next to the plant is the company headquarters. From this office, all of the company's enterprises are directed by the third generation of Schafers. John B., son of Peter, president and director. Carl A., son of Peter, vice president. Edward P., son of Peter, treasurer. Albert M., son of Albert, vice president and director. Gerald J., son of Hubert, vice president and director. And Francis W., son of Hubert, secretary.
What an advantage over custom logs after the market taken off. I think it'll pay for itself, even without considering a shipping plan. I think it would be safe, a large saving in the mill in more ways knowledge now is hay.
Aren't you going to our time limit timber as soon as possible, the early part of this year?
Well, that's what we have planned for William Creek production. I think we should hit it heavier than we did originally.
What do you figure on taking out of there?
Well, we originally planned for 3 million for the next 2 months, but I think we should hit for 4. Frank, we have an inquiry from Korea covering fir and hemlock timbers. And, it's a pretty tough schedule, and wondering what you thought about our ability to get logs that would supply this order for May, June shipment. We have fir logs in the water to cover any fir portion of it. And I'll check with our suppliers and with our own logging camps to see how the hemlock end would come out.
Some 40 miles from the office mill is the Schafer logging headquarters on the Olympic National Forest. This is so only because Peter Hubert and Albert, with admirable foresight, successfully bid on nearly 1 billion feet of government timber. It was a bold thing to do in the depths of the Great Depression, and I recall hearing the purchase referred to as Schafer's folly, but not for long. As the business skies cleared, so did men's vision, and Schafer's folly came to be seen for what it was, one of the finest logging opportunities in the Northwest. The Olympic camp is little like the traditional home of loggers. It is more of a small, neat village with family homes, gardens, flowers in the yard. Unlike city workers, the loggers do not wait on corners to catch a bus. The camp crew bus waits for them, and so to the scene of the day's work. Carl Schafer and Logger Superintendent Bill Johnson are viewing operations from the top of Spoon Creek Ridge. In this high country, one gets an idea of the wild and rugged terrain where the logs come from. The timber is cut in alternate blocks, with solid areas of trees between. When the cones open, the wind catches and blows the seeds to the harvested areas. Natural reproduction follows. Superintendent Johnson and Engineer Peterson compare various road possibilities as shown on the area map.
Yeah. Where's the hay line? How far would you be going on the hay line now to get to the last bit?
Well, we'll be going about a mile and a quarter plus.
The timber, we're trying to get this timber piece. I don't see why the government should object you to taking it, do you?
No, we took it down because it's going to blow downhill.
That's right here. Oh, no. Mitt was going to talk to Ward about it the other day. Well, let's see if he talked to him yet.
It's on the backside of it. Pretty thin.
Let's,
Take it apart, I think.
Bill, let's see, your girls work just below the hill here.
Yeah, it's just down on the spur there.
Let's, well, here's Ben now. Ben, have you talked to Ward yet about this knob up here?
Yeah, he's gonna give it to us.
Good. Too bad we didn't have a set, we could have picked it up now.
Well, we'll cut it pretty quick. We'll get it before he gets out of here.
Yeah, well, that's
Run
all
the
right.
road a little bit, and that'll be easy to get.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, let's go down all the things, look at the drill, and start shooting down here.
Bill Jasper's crew goes into action. Carloads of dynamite are used for road building. The sticks of explosive are carefully placed where they will do the most good. The fuse is laid. And there she goes. A solid rock cliff has been resolved. The bulldozers plunge into tons of debris. In a little while, this spot where a goat could not have stood will be a smooth, level highway for traffic. When high with logs, they'll be coming around the mountain. As a poet wrote so long ago, this is the forest primeval, the murmuring pine and the hemlock. Hemlocks murmur here, but not the pine. This is the Douglas fir, the dominant species of the noble great tree named for the young botanist from Scotland who first described it. logging methods are used. One, the high-beat system centering around the spar. The spar calls the most spectacular operation in the woods, tree knockers. Here is Emil Knutz, Olympic camp foreman who is also an expert height runner, preparing to go aloft. Spurs in his legs, thick belt adjusted, Emil throws his rope. Start. Up he goes, pitching his way, axe and saw dangling. When big limbs bar his progress, he removes them. At about 160 feet above ground, he straps himself in place and goes to work. Even up here, the trunk is large. It takes sawing. The top shivers, leans. Over it goes, swishing down the crash in the forest floor. While Emil, there against the sky, rides the trunk that sways wickedly. Now the spar will be rigged for yardage logs. Meanwhile, the haulers have been cutting timber. The modern machine-powered chainsaw bites swiftly into the trunk. The hauler guides the blade, moving it around the big trunk with comparatively little effort. She begins to leave. The hauler shouts morning. Down she goes, and the very earth shakes. Superintendent Johnson and Vince look to size up the quality of the shell timber.
How much you got here left to fall?
Oh, we got about 2 million feet, Gus. It's gonna be a big show.
Yeah. Let's beat it. We'll be done here in time for Jim?
I'll be done in about 2 weeks.
Oh, that's fine. It'll be a good 2 weeks for you.
Jim's still down there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a landing right here, huh?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
A lot of feelers in there, Bill, this show.
The fell trees are made into logs by buckers. Today's buckers also use a chainsaw. It eats through the close-grained wood as though it was so much butter. The long sticks are cut into lengths suitable for handling by the yarding crew when the logs are ready. All the yarding is supplied by these blenders. A far cry from the little wood-burning steam donkey, which in the earlier generation of Schafers thought is the latest thing in the world of logging. Working within radius of steel lines from the spar tree is the yarding crew. Each has a special job. Each job is a name that was bestowed back in the dim past. Names would fire the whistle pump, or signal man, the rigging slinger, the choker man, the chaser, and at the diesel throttle is the donkey puncher. Boss of the whole group is the hook tender. cable runs up to the top of the fire, then through a block and out through what's got a large side stick. Up rise the logs above the stumps, and away they go for the base of the fire. Again the diesel drums turn, and the chokers go flying back to this mighty block. Catlogging is the other method used at the Schafer camp. A tractor pulling a huge arch moves the logs from the woods to the loading works. These cats or crawlers can go almost anywhere. Loading the logs is exercised with this new type of machine. Balancing the load with its boom and tongs, it can place the log on the truck exactly where it is wanted. Doing the job of this track loader is also much bigger than with the older method. When a loaded truck pulls out, another is ready to move in. down the mountain on the way to the railhead. It's grade all the way, but never too steep, and the trucks make fast time under complete control. Though it's old stuff to them, no driver moves through more rail scenery than the Schafer tractors. They must move on schedule too, so there can be no traffic fires at the railhead. Here at the woods end of the Schafer Railroad is the log transfer station. The loaded trucks from up the mountain arrive here one after the other. The logs are lifted and placed on railroad cars in a single fast operation. The deft movements of the transfer machine change truck logging to railroad logging as one watches. When all is ready, the each locomotive lifted. The string of cars starts to move. The immense train picks up speed and moves on in daylight through the tall young trees and track of gold. The diesel blows to tell all within hearing what goes on. In half a mile, a big stock is rolling on wheels, heading to the log dump. When the train is past the Schafer machine shop and on out the train, it isn't far to the log dump. Here at the rollway on the Chehalis River, the cars are inched forward slowly, out over the water. The unloading machine goes to work. Thunder hits the air as the logs pound shut and die. They have already come 12 miles from the rail. They still have 12 miles to go, this time by water. First, the logs must be sorted by grade and species and made into a raft for towing downriver. This is done here at the moving ground. Adjacent to the moving ground is a field slough. Here for many years has been a log storage place. These quiet waters and reserve stock is kept, ready for towing when need be. Albert Schafer pulls away with two rafts, each holding more than 100,000 feet of log. This is the final trek from the stump to the mill. Arriving with its tow at the Schafer Mill in Aberdeen. Here the sticks are corralled in the holding room until they are herded to the log lift that takes them to the saws. That is Boom Foreman Ralph Look, and that is his dog. A real lumberjack of a dog. He'd rather run and ride logs through the water than to chase cats. The drama of the sawmill begins the moment the log is rolled aboard the heavy carriage. The bandsaw snaps its long wail. This is the classic sound of the beating wood steel. Back and forth moves the carriage, taking the log to the bandsaw. Riding and swaying with the carriage is the saddle. He moves the log a bit after each cut in response to a hand signal to the sawyer. The head sawyer is all but hidden in its place at the lever. A glittering ribbon of heat that slices great white plank clean as a housewife slices cake. As the slabs fall, the off barrel of the sun sends them flying over the live rolls miles an hour. Yet he's the man who controls both saw and carriage. On him depends the smooth, even flow of lumber throughout all the mill. From the head rake, the cants roll speedily to the edger. Here they continue the transformation from log to lumber. The edgeman works in storms of sawdust, and often in sudden showers of pitch. When it's spring, the sap is running full head. The lumber now goes to the automatic trimmer. A whole gallery of saws that lift the drop according to the quick judgment of the man who controls. But with the long log has been reduced to pieces of lumber. The rough lumber emerges from the sawmill on the long wheel chain. From here it is taken and piled according to size and length. The bill orders for finished lumber, the green stock, is later run through the planing mill. Johnson, trainer foreman, and Bob Hessimer, chief electrician. It is their job to keep the mill running smoothly. Bill Superintendent Don Sandler with his foreman Ralph Finley and Walt Smith make plans for loading a cargo of lumber. Compared to the continuous bedlam inside the mill where men must talk with their hands, the outside of the plant seems quiet. Out here, the whine of the saws is music. The chatter of the plainers is faint. Yet there is great activity in the yard and on the dock. And on the air everywhere is the pungent, wild tang of fresh sawdust. No other perfume can quite match it. To anyone with the least imagination, the smell is incense. Bring the sight and sound of a big tree falling on some far mountainside, and the chug of a donkey engine, the whistle of a locomotive, the moan of a talc, and the staccato of a bandsaw. All these noises and things go into a single board or a lone shingle. Cedar logs of a suitable type are lasted separately and conveyed direct to the shingle mill. Then sawed into blocks. The blocks are thin. They go to a shingle machine. In less time than it takes to tell it, the blocks have become those aromatic strips of what we call shingle. Packing into bundles is the next step. Watching this packing indicates why his job is known as shingle weaving. He must fit the many pieces to the size and shape of the standard bundle. 4 bundles comprise a square. The square shingles cover 10 square feet of wood. Another operation of the Schafer plant is making grain doors, favored for use on railroad boxcars when the wheat harvest is being moved. Workmen put several prefabricated pieces on a moving belt, each unit arranged in the pattern of a door. The belt carries them to this machine which nails the unit. Nails from top to bottom, never missing a stroke. Now to the other side of this ingenious arrangement of machinery comes a complete door. This door here may close the grain hatch of a boxcar in eastern Montana. That one may do the same thing almost anywhere along railroads with the grain-growing states of the nation. Nothing is wasted in the mill. This scow is filled with sawdust. It will feed the steam plant that generates electricity. Chips and other leftovers from the saws are sold to a pulp manufacturing concern. Once a month, John and Anna's grandchildren meet in this office with the present John Schafer, president of the company. A meeting with the Schafer Board of Directors is probably unique in the lumber industry of the Pacific Northwest. Possibly it is unique anywhere. Here are 12 Schafers, widows, sons, and daughters of the founders, gathered to discuss company affairs. John D. Schafer, president, son of Peter. Tom Collinson, company accountant. Marie Schafer Reed, daughter of Peter. Mrs. Albert Schafer, widow of Albert. Mrs. Peter Schafer, widow of Peter. Gerald J. Schafer, son of Hubert. Albert M. Schafer, son of Albert. Anna Schafer Gleason, daughter of Peter. Francis W. Schafer, son of Hubert. Gertrude Schafer Hoppe, daughter of Peter. Maureen Schafer Close, daughter of Albert. Emmett G. Lenahan, legal advisor. Ed, how are lumber conditions?
The lumber market is gradually improving, and I think we can expect a gradual increase in both price and demand during the next 6 months.
Tom, has any progress been made on renegotiation of profits?
Yes, Marie, there has. We have received a clearance on 1951 profits, but 1952 profits are still being negotiated. Carl, do we have to buy new equipment for the coming year?
No, I don't think so, John. Unless we decide to go ahead with either the Barker or Chipper, or both.
Why did we have to purchase additional right-of-way for the Olympic Railroad?
I hear we're going to replace the trestle on this line with a fill.
Yes, that's true. And there wasn't sufficient width in the old right-of-way agreement, so we had to secure a new contract.
What has happened to the additional land we were going to give to the state to enlarge the Schafer State Park?
We are waiting for the state to approve it, which we anticipate they will do so shortly after the first of the year, when they'll have their committee together.
How many acres are to be given to the state?
I think about 53 acres. This land would have been considerable value to the company if there's a second growth on it.
Is this land adjoining the present park? How far is it from the old homestead?
It does not actually join the park. The Santa River divides the present park from the proposed addition. This makes a very good setup.
The present generation of Schafers seems to possess one engaging quality in common, a respect for family tradition and history. Here is the old pioneer homestead dating from 1870. Now stands near the spot where the original log cabin was built. The Satsat, aegis in the manner of rivers, flows serenely past the house and barns. It is no longer the log route to market. It is the river to sea. Adjoining the old homestead is the Schafer Game Farm. This is one hobby that really calls for room. And by room, I mean the 1,000 acres that are enclosed within its high fence. The few deer and elk with which the game farm has started have since grown into herds of the animals. They fare well here, for they are fed during winter months with hay cut especially for them on Schafer fields. No deer or elk ever had it hard for good. Only the swans fail to increase. Of the 3 graceful birds turned loose, there is now but one. Near the old homestead is a wonderful grove of magnificent fir trees presented to the state by the Schafers, and formally dedicated to the memory of John and Anna Schafer. It is a favorite spot for picnics all over western Washington. Scores of these events occur each year. One is the Schafer family picnic. Not only the 3rd and 4th generations, but a very few small members of the 5th generation gather for this affair. There is, of course, a picnic dinner under the trees. thereby learning something about the old days of the pioneers. They can see the very dugouts, too, made Indian style by Peter Schafer so long ago. The craft has survived many river drives and is as seaworthy as ever. Another surviving relic is an ox yoke, used in the motive car of the Schafer Brothers Logging Company, back in 1893. Mrs. Schafer, widow of Peter, recalls the bull team logging days.
Schafer, do you remember when that was used?
But in 1893,
1893.
yeah,
Our mother's back to murder.
yeah,
And your husband was driving the boat there.
was there was the board,
And
yeah.
Hubert was falling the timber there.
And who was the chef?
And Albert was standing up.
Yes,
And your little Johnny Dan, what was he doing?
he was greasing the skip.
Yeah, well, I know exactly.
There is still one more link to the past. He is Uncle Ben Kenton, 93 years old. The same Uncle Ben taught Peter and Albert and Hubert the rudiments of skid row logging. Uncle Ben is the oldest living pioneer in the South. It was from Uncle Ben that John and Anna's 6 grandsons can hear what life was like when the sound of the first act echoed through these woods.
Around 1870, that's the time when the folks first came here. Or was you after that time?
It was out that time. They came in 70 and I came in 77. 7 years after. They come up here and established themselves, built log house, and they had a trail all the way to Schafer.
Whereabouts did they start, Ben, and how did they log?
They started working across the river, about a half a mile below, on the opposite side of the river.
This was the place where the first trees were felled. There, the first logs were rolled into the river. These stumps are marked at the time when this very ground was the roadway. The place where the first Schafer logs started their long voyage to market. Here is also the site of the first crude camp. That apple tree tells of a pie-making cook who paused long enough to plant a few seeds for the cookhouse store. On this place, too, the Schafers later grew hay to feed their oxen. Otherwise, the ground here would now be deep in the shadow of the new forest. Loggers and foresters are continually astonished at the speed with which a new forest comes up in the wake of cutting. Here on 40,000 acres of the Schafer Brothers tree farm, one of the first tree farms registered in the United States, is proof that timber really is a crop. It is also evidence that Peter and Albert Schafer were still looking ahead, even in their latter years when they set this big tract aside and said, "This will be the forest for our grandchildren." The seedlings come from the Nisqually Forest Tree Nursery, a cooperative enterprise in which the Schafer Brothers are stockholders. When the Schafers have completed their logging contract on the Olympic National Forest, their own tree farm should be ripe for a new harvest. By then, the 4th generation of the family will be ready to carry on the tradition of cutting trees and growing trees. This, you see, is their forest for the future. One may hope it will be a forest for centuries to come, a perpetual storehouse of timber. I have seen this tremendous new forest, this tree farm, when it was covered with the scars and strewn with the debris of logging. What it would have looked to people unfamiliar with the ways of the forest like devastation on a gigantic scale. Go look at it now, but take a compass with you if you leave the road, for this is woods, woods to get lost in. I know that Peter and Hubert and Albert would be happy if they could see their forest today. And I fancy too that they would be proud to see the generation that has come after them. The generation that has brought forward the company is far from the era of steam, as steam was ahead of the bull team, the skid row, and the river. More important is that this family, for 3 generations, has believed devoutly in the great American dream. The dream that free enterprise grants to ability and courage the right of accomplishment. I wonder what the first John and Anna Schafer would say or think if they could stand here and look, perhaps in wonder, at what has grown from 5 yoke of oxen and a skid row in the wilderness of the sandstone.